Montenegro is a country I've been visiting for over 20 years, since 2001, and it's a country I've seen which has undergone enormous change. I'd have to say that I've never been as struck by the beauty of a country as much as when I first went to Montenegro. Croatia's very close, but I think Montenegro had something a little bit extra. And here are 10 things that really amaze me about Montenegro, and they're not the normal things that you would find in many guidebooks, perhaps. The first is that for much of the last century, indeed for 102 years from 1904 to 2006, Montenegro was at war with Japan, and this is quite a bizarre thing, and it all stopped in 2006 when Montenegro became an independent country and Japan recognized it. But back in 1904 there was the Russia-Japan War, which lasted for 2 years, and the Montenegrins were fighting with the Russians. For some reason in the peace treaty Montenegro wasn't mentioned, and so they were still at war. Thankfully, this is something that won't happen again, because Montenegro now is a very safe country and its security is secure in the fact that it's one of the NATO members. The second thing that is amazing about Montenegro, and it's the first thing that really strikes people, is its natural beauty. This is a country of incredible mountains and incredible coastline, and it has the largest fjord in southern Europe, the Kotor Bay, or the Boka Bay, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in its own right. And just to give an idea of how much natural beauty there is, 10% of the country is given over to nature parks and national parks, and it also has the second biggest canyon in Europe at Tara. Lord Byron, who came to visit in the 19th century, had this to say about Montenegro. He said, "At the birth of our planet, the most beautiful encounter between the land and the sea must have happened at the coast of Montenegro. When the pearls of nature were sown, handfuls of them were cast on this soil." The third thing that's amazing about Montenegro, and I actually saw it in action for the first time, I think, was that this is a country where you can ski in the morning and swim in the afternoon, because you have these incredible mountains and you have ski resorts such as Kolašin, and then you have the Adriatic coast just a short drive away. But when I went recently to the Chedi Lustica Bay, I was talking to the manager Jan Albers, and I asked him if he'd actually skied in the morning and swum on the same day, and he said he hadn't. So then I challenged him to be the first person ever on video to do just that in January. He was a very game boy, and he said he would do it. And so we left the next morning at 7 o'clock. We drove from the Chedi, 5-star breakfast, all the way up to Kolašin. We went along the Adriatic coast, incredible scenery, past the amazing Sveti Stefan, and we climbed up the mountains, and we got to Kolašin for about 10:45. And Jan and my video guy Steve were on the ski slopes with their snowboards by 11 o'clock. Had a couple of hours of really good snowboarding. The snow was really good. We drove along the new Montenegro motorway from Podgorica to Kolašin. And then we came slowly back, fantastic views coming back down again, beautiful sunny day, and then into the Chedi, to the beach there. And then the two guys, they got in, they jumped in. It was a little bit chilly, but they quite enjoyed themselves. And then afterwards, and a sauna, and then dinner at the Chedi. What a perfect way to spend a day. Swim and ski. The fourth amazing thing about Montenegro, it has the largest vineyard in all of Europe. Located just outside the capital Podgorica, winery of Plantaja has 5,700 acres, and its main produce is a local variety called Vranac. But this is a very small country of 620,000 people, but it has 63 different grape varieties. And some people say that the original Zinfandel, which traditionally is thought to come from Kastel and is split in Croatia, actually derives from a local variety called Kratošija. Number 5 is celebrities. The Adriatic coast these days is full of celebrities coming down in their super yachts, but the history and tradition of celebrity visiting to Montenegro dates back to the 1960s. And Sveti Stefan, which is now an Amaze resort, was a favourite place in the 1960s for the likes of Marilyn Monroe, Sophia Loren, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton were regular visitors, and it was one of the luxury places in former Yugoslavia. And now with the arrival of Porto Montenegro and Lustica Bay and Porto Novi, where there's been more than 2.5 billion euros invested in these 3 resorts, that luxury and that super yacht lifestyle has been returning to Montenegro. But it's not a new thing, this is something that has existed for quite some time. And the 6th thing, which is really amazing about Montenegro, is that it was actually the country where the acting career of one of the world's most famous and best paid actors was launched, Brad Pitt. Back in 1988, Brad Pitt made his first film called Dark Side of the Sun, which you can actually find on YouTube if you've got the time, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. And this is what started his career. Today, I don't know how many millions he commands per film, but back then he was paid just $1,523. And when we talk about films, film set and luxury and glitz, it should be mentioned that the country that Casino Royale, the James Bond movie, was set in was Montenegro, even though in fact it wasn't actually shot in Montenegro at all. It has that glitzy sort of casino rich sort of stereotype there, so that was another one. The seventh thing that's amazing about Montenegro, especially for me living 20 years in Croatia and following Croatian tourism, the biggest single tourism investments in Southeast Europe. It's at 1.1 billion euros. It's the biggest foreign investment in the history of Montenegro. This is a Swiss-Egyptian company called Orascom, and they have a phenomenal project on a little peninsula called Lustica between the Tivat-Budva road, where they have 7 million square meters, and they have a project to do 7 hotels, 2 marinas, and a 18-hole golf course. A village of 2,500 people. The place is outstanding natural beauty. They're doing it to a very, very high end. First hotel that opened is the Chedi Lustica Bay, which is probably the best hotel I've stayed in on the Adriatic. And to give you an idea, they've been open for 5 years, and 35 of their 135 staff have been with them since the start. So at this hotel and on this project, they're looking at careers, not seasonal work as you get in Croatia. The big benefit of this particular project is because they have the 7 million square meters, they don't really have any neighbors, and so they're free to plan this luxury area, which is accessible to everybody. And they've managed to integrate the local population and the local tourist offer, and so you have this fabulous combination of true luxury and natural beauty and traditional, authentic Montenegro, and they blend together beautifully. For all the people that say that Montenegro is overbuilt and overspoilt, rather than going straight to Budva, take a right and go to Lustica Peninsula, because it really is quite fantastic. The eighth thing that amazes me, and it'll upset a few people in Croatia, but that's okay, is how Dubrovnik has become a service centre for luxury tourism in Montenegro. So if you look at the wider map, you have this fantastic UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Boka Bay, and it goes around and it has amazing traditional villages such as Perast, which is completely unspoiled, as well as the main town of Kotor, which goes into the mountain. It's sensational. And then it goes around this Lustica Peninsula, and all around here you have Porto Novi, which is an investment from Azerbaijanis of 900 million. You have the Egyptian-Swiss thing on Lustica for 1.1 billion, and then you have Porto Montenegro, which was Canadian, French, and Arab money, I think, for $500 million. These are places that by the water are very, very accessible. So now you have a lot of people are flying into Dubrovnik, and they're not going into Dubrovnik themselves, they're actually turning the other way and they're coming to Montenegro, because this is where the 12-month luxury offer is. You have the airport of Tivat, which services those as well within Montenegro, but there are much, much better connections during the season coming into Dubrovnik, and a lot of that traffic is going across the border. And you have the additional benefit, of course, if you're staying in one of these luxury places, that you can go for a wonderful day trip to Dubrovnik. The dynamic between Dubrovnik and luxury tourism in Montenegro is a very interesting one. A lot more of the money is going to the Montenegrin side, and that's quite fascinating. Montenegro has incredible heritage, and it has traditions that go back many, many centuries. One of the most interesting things I found is the highest mausoleum in the world at 1,660 meters on the mountain of Lovćen is in Montenegro, and it was for Petar Petrović Njegoš. He lived from 1813 to 1853. It's an incredible hike, the views are sensational. To say you've been to the highest mausoleum of the world is one more reason to visit Montenegro. And my final thing that I think is amazing about Montenegro is I think it's the only country in the world that has its very own 10 commandments. These were done in jest to maybe show the stereotype of laziness. There's a stereotype that Montenegrins are lazy. I prefer to look at it as an acknowledgement that the Montenegrins have mastered the art of lifestyle. And let me read these 10 commandments because they're quite sensational. Number 1, man is born tired and lives to get a rest. Number 2, love thy bed as you love thyself. Number 3, rest during the day so you can sleep at night. Number 4, do not work, work kills. Number 5, if you see someone resting, help them out. Number 6, work as little as you can and convey all the work you can to another. Number 7, in shade is salvation. Nobody died from resting. Number 8, work earns illness. Do not pass away young. Number 9, if you have an urge to work, sit down, wait, and you'll see it will pass. And lastly, when you see people eat and drink, approach them. When you see them work, withdraw yourself, not to trouble them. And this kind of sums up the lifestyle of Montenegro. It's relaxed, it's chilled, it's beautiful, it's natural, and if you've never been, come and see. It's really quite sensational.